take the map and drive the instructor inside the classroom and link it to the M step, then everything will move. You see it?
Ladies, third grade teachers, could you tell me, how do you think this professional development was for you today?
PD. It was productive. It was exciting. They will never leave Mr. Hurts advising.
Because the schools that I've worked with, the teachers I've worked with, their scores just go through the roof, because what I do is I talk about practical stuff that's practical. Because I'm a former teacher and also I'm a principal, so I'm gonna be telling you guys things that I know will work in your classroom. So I believe that, if everybody say it can't get done, I'm like, yes it can, why not? I said, if these kids can't read, then I'm not gonna propose all this, mom, dad, I'm gonna look you in your face and say this kid can't read. We let them down. School, parents, we let them down, but I'm not gonna take them to the next grade knowing that they're not at grade level. It's funny because I'm always like, okay, how are schools successful? Well, schools are successful when they demand greatness. Greatness just doesn't come. We're about to make history. We're about to learn. We're about to grow. We're about to make history. And then, mark my word, it's going to be other school districts, other places around it that's going to be doing this thing. We're going to be the first model. And I'm speaking that into existence, okay?
For booking, please visit shurtschoolturnaroundspecialist.com.
Good morning to you. This is Sean Hurt, the school turnaround specialist, with my Saturday morning podcast. And this morning we have a hot topic. How can leaders balance the pressing need for ongoing school improvement with the heavy demands, and I mean the heavy demands of non-instructional issues and emergencies? That's something we have to talk about. I'm giving the people what they need, what they want. This is something that many educators have inboxed me, reached out to me and said, Hurt, we got to talk about it. So this Saturday is the day that we're going to talk about it. So come on in and hit that share button. Let me know where you're coming from. I want all of the educators all around the world. Let's come on in. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's go ahead and hit this summertime on a good note. I know schools all around the world are breaking for the summertime, but it does not stop you from learning, you from growing, you from doing what you have to do. So come on in, take a few minutes with me as I go ahead and get all of my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter people and my social media people on. And then once again, hit that share button. I want you to bring a friend, bring somebody. If this is a topic that you know that your colleague needs, just go ahead and share it with them, okay? So give me a minute as I get all of my people in from my LinkedIn pages and things of that nature. Is always good just to be able to have so many people that support me. So just give me 1 minute and stay with me. Don't leave me. Just stay with me as I get all of my people in. As I get all my people, and I'm working 2 computers, so I want to make sure I get all of my folks in. So just stay with me as I'm working both of these computers. Make sure everybody's coming in and get that pencil and paper out as we talk about it, as we deal with it, All right. I want to make sure that I got everybody in. And once again, hit that share button. Let me know where you're coming from. Get all my Twitter folks in there. Like, hey, what about me on the Twitter world? I'm bringing you in as well. And I just thank you guys for all of the support over the years. It's just tremendous. All the people that has followed me, all of the comments that you're leaving me, I read them. I read them all. And I try to reply back before Monday morning. So all of the comments that I give out, I truly mean that. I truly appreciate all of the love and support. You just don't know. So once again, good morning, Ms. Matthews from Dallas. Good morning, Dr. Houston. Good morning, Davis, Melissa, Miss Melissa Jones. Good morning, Principal Kafele. Good morning, Dr. Jeter. Good morning, Miss September. Good morning. As you guys come and hit that share button, and we're going to get and we're going to go and get started in 30 more seconds. And this is a topic we have to discuss. This is a topic that we have to discuss. So before I go ahead and get in it, because like I said, I only have 30 minutes, so I'm here from 10 to 10:30. We call ourselves the Fantastic Four. It's myself at 10, Create and Educate at 10:30. Then at 11, we have Principal Kafele. Then on tomorrow at 7 o'clock on Sunday, we have Dean Packard. We have Dean Packard and Josh Tarver. So though we call ourselves the Fantastic Four, we've been doing this for many years, and we just give out free professional development. We try to support educators from all around the world, and educators are being blessed by the information that we are providing. So before I jump in, I want to go over a couple of housekeeping notes. Is that I'm excited. Once again, I'm excited. This week I got a phone call from Principal Angela Kennedy out of Orlando, Florida, and we went over her scores, her district scores, a school that I've been working with, and she had 1.2 years worth of growth in reading and 1.1 years worth of growth in math based on the NWA MAP test. I love it. I love it. I love it. So congratulations to Dr. Kennedy, Angela Kennedy, and her team. I was working with them all year, so I'm just excited. I'm excited. And as I was reflecting this morning, in the last 2 weeks, I've been telling you about these phone calls and also these virtual meetings I'm having with these schools that I'm working with. I looked at it, and I just want to say that I thank God for the opportunity to work with these schools. The schools in West Virginia, the school in Ohio, the school in Florida, the school in Arizona, the 2 schools in Atlanta, all of these schools I work with. So I've worked with 6 schools this year, and every school that I've worked with have increased their academic achievement. They have exceeded, and I'm going to say this again, exceeded their end of the year goals. That makes me so proud. That makes me so happy, because I know that the systems that we as a team, I'm part of their team. I always say this, I'm part of their team, are putting in place is working. We're seeing students grow. We're seeing administrators get better. We're seeing this. It is data that shows that these things that we are doing is working. So once again, big shout out to Dr. Kennedy, and big shout out to all of these educators out there that's doing a fabulous job. I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. Okay. And then there's a couple other things that make sure you register for the Black Educators Rock Conference. We need you to register. It is going to be a phenomenal conference. It will be July the 13th through the 16th in Jacksonville, Florida. So please go on the Black Educators Rock website and register for me. Some of the top speakers will be doing sessions there. So please register. We want to make this big. And I think Principal Kafele said it. You do not have to be just a Black person to attend. You can be Black, white, Hispanic. If you work with kids from the inner city, if you work with Black kids, you need to attend this. You need to sign up ASAP. I've been going for the last 6 years, and it has been phenomenal. So make sure that you go ahead and sign up. And then once again, I would like to thank everybody who has entrusted me this year, all of the superintendents and principals that have reached out to me and allowed me to work with your staff. I thank you. It has been a blessing for me this year. I've loved every minute of it. But more importantly, I love to get those phone calls to say, hey, Hurt, look at our scores. Look at what we did at the state level, district level. Look. And to see the work that we started in the beginning of the year, and then to see it at the end of the year, to see those fruits take place where those schools are moving in the right direction. So once again, I thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and jump in it. And once again, you still got time to hit that share button. You still got time to bring in a friend, and then we're going to go ahead and get in it. I want to make sure I got all of my sounds right and things of that nature. I want to make sure everybody is in. I see I got some more LinkedIn people in. All right. We're ready to go. We are ready to go. We're ready to go. So once again, how do you balance between the pressing needs that's ongoing for school improvement? We got to improve the school, and the heavy demands of non-instructional issues and emergency. It is a balance. So I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to tell you, being a school principal at the high school, middle school, and elementary level. I did all of the levels for 15 plus years. These are the things that I did and I used to make sure that I stayed on target. But the first thing we got to deal with is we got to talk about what are the non-instructional issues that's taking place at the schools. So what we're going to do is that we're going to share out. All right, because I love when people get feedback because this is how we learn. So these are the non-instructional issues that's taking place for principals all around the world. All right, not in any order. So one of the non-instructional issues that's keeping us away from doing what we got to do is fights and students wilding out in class. Fights and students wilding out in class. You know that's true. You're going down to the classroom. You got to deal with fights. You got to deal with issues, vaping. You got to deal with all of those things. Those are one of the things that's keeping us from being pressing us from improving our school. Another thing is high demands from parents. Parents taking up a lot of our time throughout the day, coming in, want to talk to you about something that happened on a bus, happened at lunchtime, happened over the weekend, happened on social media. The last 6 or 7 years, that social media thing just took us to a whole different type of element within the school. So we talking about things that happen on Saturday and Sunday that's carrying on Monday. Whether it's a text message, whether it's a post, an IG post, whatever it may be. That is another of high demands. How do we deal with this? We got to know exactly what's causing us, what's taking away all of our time and energy from being an instructional leader. Another one. High demand from teachers. Now, there's certain things that we want to support the teachers with, but there's certain things that's taking us away. I'm gonna put in bracket union issues. Woo! I said it. Yes, I said it. You say, Hurt, you going there? Union issues. Union issues. You know that the teacher is wrong, but she got the union to support him or her. Union issues. What's another one that's an instructional issue that's taking us away? Central office demanding our time. Now, we know we got to go to our meetings, but when I was a principal, that was something that really bothered me because now I'm out of the building for about 3 or 4 hours, 2 to 3 times a week, going to central office, So that was another part that was demanding my time. I see Ms. Jenkins, you said meetings. Yes, those central office demanding your time. I know that for a fact. And another thing that's demanding our time is emails, phone calls. In training, you do not want to attend. Yes, I said it. So pretty much all of those things in a nutshell are the things that are demanding our time, that's taking us away from being an instructional leader. Once again, I'm going to go down the list. Students wilding out, high demands from parents, high demands from teachers, teacher unions. You in no meetings for hours and hours. You're doing paperwork, because you got to do all this paperwork. Central office demands and emails, phone calls, and trainings you do not want to attend. Now, that is the truth. That is the truth. I'm not sugarcoating it. 15 years, that is the truth. That's 100% of what's taking place at the school. Okay? So now what we have to do is that now, how do I support you? How do I support administrators all around the world with the strategies, things that we got to do in order to make sure our school is moving in the right direction? The reason why that schools are not moving in the right direction are these things that I just named. There's nothing else. Don't get confused. There's nothing else. So now, as an administrator, we got to change it. It's the summertime. So if you fit in this category, all right, today is the day to change it. We're going to change it, okay? All right. So now let's deal with it. I'm going to talk about the things that we're going to do now differently. That's going to make sure that that we are staying focused on school improvement. Write it down. I'm going to stay focused on school improvement. I am going to stay focused on school improvement. I'm not going to stay focused on non-instructional issues. I'm going to stay focused on school improvement. So the first thing is this. School leaders need to know how to delegate effectively and to involve the school team in the overall effort to change what is being done in the school. Once again, school leaders need to know how to delegate effectively. Delegate effectively and to involve school teams in the overall change of your school. So in layman terms, you must develop a strong and effective leadership team. That's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable one, you must develop a strong and effective leadership team and delegate them to help support with moving the academic needle to improve school improvement. Many times we as principals, we think we can do it all. That is the quickest way to your grave. I'm going to say this again. Many times school principals think we can do it all. We don't need any help. That is the quickest way to burn out, and that's the quickest way to your grave. I had to learn that my second or third year. I said, in order for me to be able to have ongoing school improvement, it cannot stop with me. I must develop a strong leadership team. And not only developing a strong leadership team, but delegating some of the things that's happening after school to my leadership team. Now, what I did was I did not wait to August, September to get this. I started now. I didn't wait. I developed my team. I delegated things to them. There were things that I had to sit down and understand that I was not the expert in. I had to delegate these things to my team. Okay? So that's the first thing. All right? So I'm going to pause right there. Is there any questions? Is there any questions so far? Is there any questions? We're talking about the first thing. So if I have 1 million principals on this podcast, the first thing I would tell you is to create a strong leadership team and delegate those powers to them, because you cannot do it by yourself. Okay? Number two. No, let's go back to number one, because I'm going to stay there for a second. How does this help out? So when you have to leave out of the building, instruction or things doesn't stop with you. You can delegate this. If there's issues on the 10th grade hallway, you cannot be on the 10th grade hallway, 12th grade hallway, 11th grade hallway. You're only one person. You are delegating these responsibilities. If you have 35 teachers that you have to evaluate 3 times a year, you are working with your team to make sure that when you're in the classroom, you're going to the classroom with your instructional team to look at those best instructional practices. So now it's not only you saying what are best practices, but your team is saying the same thing. Yes. If there's nothing else, that's what I want you to do. Develop a strong, don't just develop a team, but I want it to be strong. I want it to be efficient. I want it to be able to be able to help with your vision as the school leader. Because a lot of times we have a team, but the team is not effective. We just meet just to meet. We meet just to do things, and that's not going to work. You have to have a vision, and I talk about it all the time. What is the vision for your school? And then from there, being able to get people on your team that's going to support your vision, but they have different levels of expertise to be able to carry out what's taking place at the school level. Okay? So that's the first one. All right. Number two, we're talking about how the title is that the heavy demands of non-instructional issues is hampering what we're doing for school improvement. Number two is this. I need everybody to make a schedule, and I've been saying this for years and years. Please make a schedule that will allow you to spend 60% of your time engaged with the instruction that's taking place at your school. At least 60% of your day need to be engaged in the instruction that's taking place at your school and also with students. You cannot lead from your office. You cannot lead from sitting behind your chair, your desk on the computer, shooting emails out or answering the phone. You cannot do that. Get out of your office 60% of the day and go into the classrooms, going to the hallways, be engaged with the students. Look at what's taking place with instruction. I am not telling you to evaluate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you just to spend 60% of your day engaged in the instruction. Some days you might not be able to do it because you're called to central office, you're called to whatever it may be. But 9 times out of 10, I need you to be doing that at an ongoing pace. Not only you, but also your instructional team, because when you're doing that, you will see so much that's taking place at your school. Now, you say, well, how do you know that this works? You're saying, how do you know that this works? Well, I did it for 15 years, and it worked at all levels. Also, I just talked about the 6 schools that literally improved on their district and state assessment. What they did, one of the things that they did was that they spent 60% of their time on a consistent basis observing those classrooms. If you don't believe me, you can ask them. They did it. We came up with a schedule that fit them, and not only the principals, but also their team, and they felt good about it. So now they were very proactive in their school. So now they were catching things before it took place. So one of the things that we talked about was students wilding out in the classroom. Students could not wild out in the classroom as much because I am the principal, the assistant principal, our coaches, we're all pushing into the classroom. And we call that, what do we call it? We call that all hands on deck. We call that all hands on deck, pushing into the classroom. I have Ms. Stevens on my podcast. She's actually giving information. She is one of my instructional leaders. She is one of my, when I was a principal, she worked with me. She will tell you that we spent 60% of the time in the classroom, and she was my assistant principal, and she was able to work with the teachers even more effectively. She knew what they needed. I knew what they needed. When we had our PLC meetings, we were singing the same song and dancing to the same beat. Why were we doing that? Because we were spending time in the classroom. These are non-negotiables. You can't listen. These are called best practices. There's nothing else that you can do that's going to lead you to student improvement, the school improvement, except for these strategies right here. There's nothing else. I don't want you to get confused. I don't want you to think it's some magical trick. It's as simple as this. And the reason why people think that they can't do it because it's so simple. It's so simple. Man, Hurt, you talking about 60% of my time in the classroom? Yeah, that's real simple. Man, Hurt, you talking about developing a leadership team and delegating effectively? Yes, that's very simple. Very simple. Very, very simple. Okay. All right. Yep. See, this is going to change. See, this is going to change. Next one is this. Come on, y'all, hit that share button. I got 7 more minutes, but I got about 6 or 7 things to talk about. All right, next one. And I'm not going fast. Next one. School leaders need to understand curriculum and instruction. School leaders need to understand Curriculum and instruction. You cannot be an instructional leader if you don't understand instruction. You cannot be an instructional leader if you don't understand instruction. I am not saying you got to be the guru in reading. I'm not saying math or science. I'm not saying that. But you must have in your tool belt, yes, your tool belt, some type of instructional pedagogy that's taking place. So when you go into the classroom, you know what quality instruction looks like. When you're going into the classroom, you and your team know what quality instruction look like. All right, Hurt, you're right, but I'm not there yet. That's why you need professional development. That's why you are tuning in now. That's why you're tuning in at 10:30. These are the things that's going to help you to understand what quality instruction looks like. How is the classroom supposed to be set up? What about those ICAST statements or those standards that need to be on the board? What about those depth of knowledge question 2 or 3? Yes, I'm talking good. Oh man, how should we go from whole group instruction to small learning communities in the classroom at the high school level, middle school level, and elementary level? How do you read your data and understand how the data is going to drive down instruction in the classroom? When do you need brain breaks for the elementary schools? What about going from one class to the next? How should the kids behave? These are all the things that we're talking about. You must understand curriculum and instruction. When you understand that, it takes you to a whole nother level. If you ask any of the principals of schools that I work with, they will tell you, Mr. Hurt will sit down with me and say, do you understand how your district data, your district assessment mirrors your state assessment? That's the first thing I'm telling instructional leaders to understand, because when you get that, now when you're in the classroom, you understand what I need to teach in order to help to move student achievement in the classroom. And I think Principal Fele says it all of the time, my mentor. You are not teaching math, but you're teaching Matthew. I'm going to say this again. You're not teaching, Principal Kafele says it all the time. You're not teaching math, but you're teaching Matthew. In order to understand what Matthew needs, you got to be in the classroom to understand the instruction. Because, and now I'm going to go and drop this nugget, is that what I'm telling teachers, especially with these black young men, these black boys, is that boys do not want to sit and hear a teacher lecture for an hour and a half. They need to be able to move around. They need to be able to touch. They need to be able to feel. They need to be able to engage in the materials in the text. So if I know that, consequently, the fights, the not staying on task, the kids wilding out in the classroom will go down, because now we have instruction that is going to be that the kids can engage with. You have to understand curriculum and instruction in your school. Number 3, you got to understand that. You got to spend time with it. You got to be intimate with it. You got to understand that, because when I got it, I understood that certain things that we're doing in the classroom as teachers, we really did not have to do. So I told my teachers, we're going to scale down a lot of these things, because it didn't make sense, and it did not lead to school improvement overall. It did not lead to school improvement overall. Man, I got so many people commenting and things of that nature. Yes, it did not lead to school improvement overall. I got my good friend, Dr. Marcus Jackson, on here, one of the top educators in the world, and he's been saying the same thing. Everybody is saying the same thing. We want schools all over the world just to take the advice, take the information, and run with it. Okay. All right, I got 2 more minutes. Man, this is good. Next thing, you're going to organize the school for greater student learning. I want you to organize your school. These non-instructional issues are taking place because we're not organizing our school. How are your morning announcements taking place? How are you hyping up the students? How are you dealing? Remember the thing I said, all hands on deck. When I said, why are kids getting pushed out when we should be able to push in all the adults, let's push into the classroom. Let's go into the areas that we know that teachers need support in, and let's support them in the classroom so everybody's staying in the classroom. We organize our school to support the student learning. Because we did it for 30 and 40 years did not make it right. Because you're doing it for 30 and 40 years does not make it right. That's called insanity. In order to see different results, you got to have different things taking place. So we organize our school. What was up in the hallways, if you know me, we have pictures of all of our students hanging up from the ceiling. I'm going to say this again. We have pictures of all of our students hanging up from the ceiling. We have artifacts in the hallways that represented the kids so they saw positive imagery inside of the hallways. In the classrooms, we have books and texts that resemble our Black and Latino students. So when they read the books and the text, they saw themselves in this. They saw themselves in this. We have people to come in and do culturally responsive training for my teachers. We read articles, everything, our after-school programming, our parent night, our reading night, all of these things. We organize our school in the summertime to support the student learning that was taking place in the school. We was very intentional with this because we knew that once we did that, it would stop all of these non-instructional issues that was taking place at our school. So I'm going to stop right there. It is 10:30. I'm not going to go past my time, but we're going to do part 2 next week. So I need everybody to tune in next week. Bring a friend with you. You know who needs to hear this. Bring a friend. Also, if you would like for me to come to your school in your district, this is the work that I do. Inbox me now so we can go ahead and set it up. I'm ready to come in. I want you to be one of the 6 other schools that made their mark this year. I need 4 more schools next year. So this year I got 6. I'm working with the same 6 next year, and I want to add 4 more so it could be 10. That's what I'm looking for. So thank you very much. Have a blessed weekend. Everybody go to Create and Educate. Thank you. And remember, like I always say, become the school that you want to become. Become the school that you want to become. I'm going to say it again. Become the school that you want to become. Thank you, and I will talk to you later.